and good afternoon and well met and hearty and hail. I'm Tom Vasel. I don't know. That kind of way.
I love it.
Give me my intro back.
Yeah, right.
Yo, folks, I'm Tom.
I'm Zee Garcia. Hi.
Hey, Mike DiLisio here.
What? Oh, we did that this morning. Sorry.
Hater of nature. Hater of all things nature.
Okay, so I want to talk about this briefly, not Mike's hatred of nature. So nature-themed games, we've been talking about this lately, like, oh, all these new games are nature-themed. Whoa, you know.
Yes.
That is exactly how you sound.
That is basically what that was an uncanny.
Right.
I felt like I was looking in a mirror.
A doppelganger.
But what is a nature-themed game? So, obviously, we take out technology, okay?
Right.
And historical and all that stuff. So I was thinking more along the lines of, like, about nature, which...
Really? So nature made you think nature.
Okay, now listen.
That's a bold choice. I didn't even go think
I
of
really
that.
think when it comes to nature-themed games,
Yeah.
we all know what we're talking about, and I don't have to describe it, and I also don't have to, like, squeeze things into it, like, well, this game is about, you know, a cat chasing a mouse, and they're both nature.
Right. It's like some other things that have been said before. I know it when I see it.
Yes.
Right? Nature.
What other things?
No,
Well,
we're not going there.
Trees, for
That's
example.
the next top 10
Yeah,
list.
yeah. So this was interesting.
Au natural.
Z asked me, and I, you know, hopefully Z doesn't mind, you know, peeking behind the curtain a little bit. But you said that's me peeking behind the curtain. Can I have my intro back? Z said, "Are you considering flora and fauna?" So after I consulted my dictionary, I said, "Yes, Z, I am considering."
If it had been just flora, I would have called this top 10 flora-themed games.
No, you
Top
wouldn't have.
10
You don't know what that word
flora
means.
games.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of chloroform going on, so that makes sense.
There are two things that I excluded from my list.
Okay.
One, I don't think it's controversial, and the other I think might be. The one I don't think is controversial is, well, for me, and if you guys are, well, it's still wrong, but I accept it.
Yeah.
I excluded non-real world nature. By that I mean, if, let's say, there was a game about Redwall and the mice fighting against the rats, I don't consider that to be nature, that's like fantasy.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I did the same thing.
It's out. We're all talking about the same game. Everdell's out. Okay?
Okay, if Everdell's out, then I didn't agree, because maybe it's in there somewhere. I don't know. That's
That's
real.
He
exactly
just said Redwall. My man just said Redwall.
I was trying to be
then no.
oblique
Okay.
about it. Okay, my second one, and this one's a personal one.
Yeah.
I don't agree then.
I cut
ahead.
out zoos.
Mike didn't. He put him in there.
I got top
It's like
10 zoo
basically
games
top
right
7
here.
zoo games. for
Nothing
Mike.
but zoos.
Oh,
No, I
just
just-
peeked.
I think there could be an
Behind
argument
the
made
curtain.
that zoo games aren't actually nature,
Yeah.
and then
That's more nurture.
Right.
maybe.
What I guess the way I approached it, as far as like putting them in ranking, I didn't rank them as far as like the games I like the best. That's one way you could approach it.
How did you do the bottom 5?
The bottom 5.
Sorry, folks, it's been a really long week.
This has been a long week.
So cut us some slack. I don't care about anything right now.
I
Very
just ranked
loopy.
this as the games that I felt most evoked this feeling, this theme, right? And so to me, to me, what nature games are about, as much as the artwork and the components, is they kind of evoke this feeling of serenity and maybe appreciation of beauty, things along those lines. That's what I was thinking
like it.
of.
Yeah, the way I rank this is if you said, hey, I feel like playing a nature-themed game.
Yeah.
The question is not, I want to play the best game you've got with that theme.
Right.
I want to play the one that most gives me that feeling.
Right.
I'm putting theme first here.
That's it.
Make it a good game also.
Yes.
So it doesn't necessarily mean the number 1 is my favorite game from these 10.
Correct.
I'm just... It nails that setting.
Yeah,
the flora.
That's perfect.
Maybe the fauna a little bit. Oh my goodness.
I put mine in order of how much I liked them.
Okay, well, some people default to old classics.
Right. There's a couple of ways to
Bang the
approach
dice game on your list?
Just missed it. It just missed out on number 11.
It's your 11. Got it.
Actually, I do have my 11 ready this time because I suspect it might be on one of your lists, maybe.
There, I'm calling 1, 2.
What's my 11? I don't know.
3. I'm calling 3 to 4 crossovers.
Oh, there's more than that.
You think?
I don't know, Z. Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
Let's jump into this, okay? And I did my top 10 zoo games another time. Okay, there you go. Go ahead. I don't always say go ahead. Okay, now you can go. Sorry.
So my
nature,
yeah, there's nothing natural about that. My number 10 is a game that clearly I feel has a theme of nature, and it is most carried through by the art and the components, but it's more of an abstract game, and that's why it's 10 as opposed to 2, 3, or 1. My number 10 is Bosk, which is a game that clearly, if you look at the artwork there and the cover, is leaning into, the natural beauty of mostly trees and leaves. This is one that has an interesting kind of a feel to it, where you're placing, it's kind of a two-stage game where you're placing trees out on the board, and those trees are going to drop leaves, and you're going to be dropping out those leaves in such a way that you're trying to do area control. And so one of the things I noticed when I was doing this list is that a lot of games that have a nature theme
are pretty mean,
right?
Yes.
And this is one of those games that can really have a bit of meanness to it, because it's area control. You can cover up other players' leaves and things.
Nature is cruel sometimes.
Nature is a cruel mistress. And,
I have a lot of cruel games on my list.
And so, Bosk, while it is a beautiful game, and I think it's a nice theme, I certainly
it also
like
teaches you a new word you probably never used.
Right. I had never heard the word Bosk, but isn't that like a clumping of trees?
It's a bounty hunter in Star Wars.
It is, but it's spelled differently.
You're right.
2 S's, right?
Yes.
Wow. And umlauts. I'm just making up the umlauts. Thank you.
I'm impressed.
He knows. He pretends not to know, but he does now.
Right.
You're a nerd.
For the kids.
For the kids. But have you used it yet ever? Have you ever said, look at that boss?
I actually have. I said, do you want to play boss?
Thanks.
That's the only time I've
Can you use this word in definition? What is the meaning of boss?
They stole it from Spanish.
A clump of trees. Did they?
Yeah, but in Spanish, forest is bosque. So it's like almost the same word.
It's our word now. Back out.
That's right. Cultural appropriation.
I apologize.
So anyway, my number 10 is Bosk. A very pretty game, but pretty abstract.
My number 10 is a trick-taking game called Plums, or Pee My Pflaumen.
Oh, that's right.
Which of the 200 versions of Plums are you talking about? Is this one that they made like 30 different variants?
That's pears.
Yeah, you're thinking of pears.
My apologies.
Also a nature game.
Plums are better than pears anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't even argue.
Have you had pear wine? No. How about plum wine? Yes.
That's true. Plums are delicious.
Yeah, plum salsa?
So in this game, this is a trick-taking game, sort of a recipe fulfillment set collection game in which you play cards. It's a trick-taking game. The cards there's no suits. They're just numbered 1 through 30 or whatever. You can play any card you want to, and whoever wins then collects a card from that. You're trying to, some cards you'll use for the sort of the recipe at the top, like say 3 pears, and the other ones you'll keep for the fruits, and trying to make groups of that. There's a few other things. This is actually sort of historically steeped in a few different things, one of them being nature, the other one being math. This is the only game I can think of that has these cards that are pi, PI cards, and you can play one of those to add 3.14 to the value of your card.
Well, technically.
Yes.
It's 3.14.
With
many other digits.
Go ahead, keep going.
I don't know them all.
3.14159. Keep going.
That's as far as I've got.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Don't you ever come to my house tell me about pi.
I'm surrounded by nerds.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of both of them.
Thank you. Plums. Delectable and smirks.
Do you know who the artist is for this game?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that's great art.
It's beautiful.
Seuss.
Yeah,
I want to eat a piece of fruit after seeing that.
The fig was a particularly good picture.
I really like the way they show the piece
cross section kind of.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
it,
that.
the cross section.
I would not have considered this as a nature theme game, but I'm down with it.
Fruit ain't nature.
I can
It's
live
a
with
math. It is very much a math game as well.
Yeah.
But
I just wasn't thinking food. That's the part, I guess, that gets me. But it's definitely nature. I just hadn't. I wasn't.
It's also about sort of exploring the natural world thematically. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not just about eating the fruit.
Yeah.
It's like that cross section of
right.
studying the thing. It's like, okay, this seems like a nature vibe. It's also a garbage pick. It's my number 10.
There also is a flower and a butterfly on the cover. So.
Done. That's good enough.
You got everything.
I got flora, I got fauna, baby. Right. Let's roll.
Well, I'm just going to talk about fauna, my first one. My number 10 is the biggest, longest game on my list.
Ark Nova.
No, that's a zoo game.
Everdell.
Dominant species and marine.
This is a good pick. I didn't even think about
here.
this.
Okay, so
you could have put either, but yeah.
I could have put either. This is the newer one. This is the one I think this one's a little bit more streamlined than the other. So you're picking one of 4 different species, and you are propagating that species and trying to evolve so that you can survive in different things and get special abilities. And man, that board looks terrible.
And that's better than the original.
I'm looking at this board like I'm trying to sell this game. GMT is not helping me at all here.
If you have the meeple source pieces, that'd help a little bit.
I don't think they made them for this game yet.
Not yet.
They made them for the original Diamond Species. Yeah, it's a great cover.
I like that cover.
And the card artwork is good too.
Yeah.
But they believe, as many players who played this believe, that very stark board helps see where everything is.
Yeah.
It's a solid game. It is a long game. It is a mean game because you are fighting each other. But it is all about, moving these species around, the different terrains. There are erupting vents that are happening in the ocean, and there's like cool things that happen. This
is clearly nature, yeah.
Yeah, dominant species, marine. You could have put dominant species here too, but I just put one, and the marine is the newer of the 2.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Interesting. So my number 9 already breaks your rule, apparently, of gotta be real world.
Okay, first of all, did he not agree with this rule?
Well, I guess what I was getting at.
Oh yeah.
Here's what I was getting at.
When
you said fantastical world, I guess I was thinking more like, I don't know, sci-fi-ish or something. I don't know.
What?
I was in a different wavelength. Okay.
All right.
I can't wait to hear these picks, man.
No, these are legit picks.
Redwall, the board game doesn't even exist. All right, is it Everdell?
It is not Everdell.
Okay.
It's a game that I feel like lives in a similar feel, which is creature comforts. And I think that this one, it does a very good job because it's not just about these cute critters, but the whole idea of it.
It's about them baking.
It is not about them
baking.
It's
about a raccoon with an axe.
No.
We used to have a raccoon on the back porch of the Dice Tower. Remember that?
We used to have cats on the back porch of the Dice Tower. Now they're in my house.
They were all dressed in cute clothing with axes.
So the idea behind creature comforts is that they are preparing for winter.
Okay.
Right, and that's all. They're trying to make their den cozy and comfortable so that they can hibernate over winter.
With board games.
With board games. I think that's a great, cute theme with adorable art, and I feel like it does evoke the kind of things you're looking for in a nature-themed game, right? It definitely has that vibe, that calm, kind of cozy, hunkering down for the winter, going through the seasons, collecting your resources. I just felt like it did a good job of kind of evoking the theme that it is presenting, and it is one that clearly is in the natural world. Fair enough if you wanted to keep it in I didn't constrain myself in such a way, and I feel like this does a good job with that.
I'm just too strict.
Right. I choose to be a little more open-minded, right? I don't like to use the word fascist. I'll leave that for other people to say.
Oh, okay.
But I like to be open-minded.
Godwin's Law, this thing? All right.
I think this is a good pick.
This game, we just came off Dice Tower East, 2022, in case you're watching this 10 years in the future. And this was one of the most played games there, I think. It was definitely in the top 30 or whatever. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think we could have put this on the hot games table. It was out often enough.
I wasn't expecting it, right?
I haven't played it yet, but it looks really cute.
I'm surprised you didn't pick like the one that was 2 before this, the ocean one.
Wreck Raiders? This feels more nature-y than Wreck Raiders does. I agree it could have been on the list, but this, I think, evokes what we're talking about today more.
I think you're right that there is a certain
I'm actually,
mind, like headspace and emotional comfort that comes with these kinds of things.
This list I went much more kind of intuitive gut than analytical, because I was like, how does this game make me feel when I'm playing it?
Ooh,
that kind of a thing. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for myself.
Let's do that. Top 10 games that make me feel something.
Yes.
Anything. please, God.
My word.
I want to
What's
feel
yours?
something.
What
All
is
right, what is
yours?
my number 9? Number 9?
I don't know. Why are you asking us?
It's Village Green, guys. You should have known this.
Well, a little Peter
Village
Sylvester,
Green
huh?
has trees in it and stuff.
Trees? Oh, and stuff too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's great. That's yeah.
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 I
Look
like the
at that.
tagline on that. Pretty
Yeah,
gardens
isn't it
and
great?
petty grudges.
Yeah.
This one is a card drafting kind of game in which you are lining up a 3x3 grid, and then you're also drafting scoring conditions that go around the outside of that. The main twist here, certainly not an unseen twist, but an interesting one, is that every card in that grid is going to matter for 2 things.
Yeah.
Sometimes they will be at odds with one another, right? If I'm scoring a line across that wants specific kinds of trees, well, there's a card maybe above the center row going down that doesn't want trees. I now need to contend with which one I want to satisfy.
Yeah.
Or switch one out, or change the card that goes there to something else. And it's pretty puzzly. It's a very small game. I wouldn't call it a micro game.
We need to stick this on the Catch-A-Palooza because I've not played this one.
Oh, this is good. I like.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
a neat little game.
it's gone under the radar, and I don't know why.
Very much so.
It's a pretty
In fact,
game.
I think I
and-
put it in my under the radar series, whatever that garbage was called.
Yeah, that was garbage series.
Unsung Gems. That's
Yes.
the one.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a nice one, Tom. I'll be happy to teach this game to you. Nay, thrilled.
All right, before I talk about my number 9 here, I'd like to apologize about the cover because it's creepy.
Oh, great.
Is it that weird crawling baby over Europe?
No, that's a creepy cover too. That's a top 10 list we'll do in the future. And this one does not necessarily evoke based on art.
Okay.
But and this is, never mind, I don't want to spoil anything. Anyhow, it's called Inhabit the Earth. So this game here,
wow.
which is, zoom in on that cover, baby.
What is who?
All of those animals
Whoever
have been.
painted these animals,
It's fine except the eyes, right?
everything
They've
though.
all eaten
Like,
something very odd.
what is wrong? They
Yes.
all look fine, except the eyes on every one of them.
It's
Right.
looking at you.
There's something, or they're looking out into the ocean also.
Right.
Like the elephant sees something coming.
Right. That zebra.
They're also very red eyes.
They look like they're on drugs.
They do.
They're
Let's just put it out.
Okay, so ignore the cover.
Right.
Okay, so ignore the cover. This is actually from Richard Brees, who's done mostly the key games. This is actually one of like 2 that's not a key game.
Yeah.
I like this game. It's about getting your species. In fact, it's a little bit similar to Dominant Species, but you have multiple species that you are inhabiting the Earth.
I so want to give this a new name right now that I'm not going to do.
Oh, please don't.
I won't.
Anyhow, I think there's a lot of cool strategy in this game, and I think this game has not taken off at all because of the way it looks, because I can't defend this at all. But I like the game. I like the idea of spreading to different continents and different. Some creatures work better on some continents than others. That makes sense, right?
It does.
They work better in hotter things. But you guys can't get past the eyes. You just can't do it, right?
I'm sorry.
That's-
I have a title in my head too.
When we cut,
When we
we'll
cut,
say it at the
we'll
same
share,
time.
yeah.
I'm going to put it this way. It still starts with inhabit the.
Mine too.
Okay,
Oh
good.
my word.
Okay.
Come on now. All right. I got to hear this. Go, cut to the break. Go.
I thought mine was good, but yours is much better. Yours is much better.
Apparently, Roy had the same as mine.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Yeah. When check out our Patreon that doesn't exist, and we'll tell you what it was. All right.
Okay. Yes. That's not even that funny.
No. Okay. My number 8 comes from a publisher that I believe I could have picked. Well, I won't get ahead of myself. My number 8 is Floriferous. Pencil First Games.
Oh, sure. I would have been shocked had none of Pencil First Games made this list.
This is a publisher, I think, that this isn't the only type of game they do, but I don't know that anybody does it more consistently well. Everything from the artwork to the themes to, believe it or not, even the components and the packaging, I feel like really reinforces this feeling of just pleasantness. It is just every time I get these games out, it's a pleasure. You know what I mean? It really is. They're so pretty on the table. Everything fits very nicely. I know it sounds stupid, but it all kind of just it evokes this feeling that I keep trying to describe, and I'm not doing very well.
So I haven't played this one.
Yeah.
How similar is it to Herbaceous? That's the one I have
It's Herbaceous Plus. It's the next step from Herbaceous. It's got a similar amount of rules, but just enough more, and some similar feelings with kind of placement and things along those lines. Set collection. This has also a nice element of turn order being an aspect of the game that's important, because not only are you drafting cards that are going to be sets, you're also drafting the scoring conditions. And so you can't do both on your turn. You're either going to be drafting a flower or you're going to be drafting a scoring condition for those flowers. And just that little twist, that little extra thing is enough to put it a little bit above in complexity over Herbaceous. I could teach Herbaceous to anybody, gamer, non-gamer, grandparents, child. This one, I would probably be a little bit more discerning about, but it's still very light and beautiful, and I feel like does the nature thing very well.
I think it's a little bit more complex, and from that small bump in complexity gains a tremendous amount.
I agree.
I think it's like way better than Herbaceous, and I like Herbaceous.
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, my number 8 is all about bugs and filthy critters.
Any specific bugs?
Lots of bugs. You got ants, and you got roaches in there, and maybe some sort of...
This ain't cockroach poker, is it?
No, it's Hive.
Oh, okay.
Hive...
Oh, interesting.
...is about buggy bugs, and you are trying to surround a queen bee, your opponent's queen bee. This one really does not follow that rule of feels relaxing, and a lot of mine do. I do like that feeling when I play a nature sort of theme. But I think in this one, largely, the fact that these are animals that have real world representations does help with the rules. At least on some of these, okay? Like the grasshopper leaping thing. That works for me. That makes sense. It makes it just a little bit easier to teach, as opposed to in chess, a mounted horse always has to turn after they run one or two.
As they always
Haven't
do.
you seen a horse in nature? Come on.
So I think this is, it's a purely abstract game with then this nature theme on top. I have a hard time thinking of what you could do to remove it and still have it work, except go meaningless. Go fully abstract and meaningless, And I like that. I think in this one that works. I think it was a good choice to make this about bugs and have them behave somewhat like they would in nature. This one fills out a very different area of my list as some of the other ones, and I don't think anybody's going to sit there and play this and go, I feel like I'm outside.
You can play this outside, though.
You can play this outside. You can play this anywhere. It's fully plastic, completely waterproof. Doesn't matter.
They should have a mosquito piece that, no matter what you do, keeps coming back. And you try to move it, and it's gone. You're like, I guess we got it. And then it's behind your ear.
All right, so my number 8, Hive.
My number 8, I feel confident in saying, is the newest game, not just on my list, but any of our lists, because we haven't even reviewed this game yet. But we did play it. All three of us, I think. No, you didn't play it.
I didn't play it. I know what it is.
You were not here. And that is Planted.
Yeah, I thought this might show up on the list.
I wondered if you both put on your list or not. You haven't played it, I just realized. So maybe Z, but we'll see.
No. Hard pass.
Okay, well, you lie a lot. So Planted, look at that cover.
Phil Walker, hard pass.
I'm on the list with that cover alone. But I found this to be not only a fun game with amazing. This is still boggles my mind, the price point of this game.
$20 or even $30.
30, right? That's what it is.
It's 30, but there was on sale for 20. But even 30, that's pretty good.
I want it for 20.
It has deluxe pieces, but you get all these different plants, and you need they require sunlight and stuff, and they did a good job at being thematic in that. Like cactus doesn't need water,
right?
Things.
I was going to ask Z, since you haven't played Floriferous. We were making that comparison. Would this be like the Floriferous to Sushi Go's Herbaceous? Is it that difference in complexity? Because I haven't played this one yet. Same designer, same idea of drafting.
I think there's more of a difference Kinda, but I think there might be more of a difference between this Sushi Go and this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. You know what? Yes, Mike. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll go with yeah. There
I don't know
are
the question you were asking, but all right.
The difference in complexity, because this looks like it's like just a step up from Sushi Go. Same
Yes.
designer, same idea of drafting, and floriferous and herbaceous.
But not much.
I think Herbaceous is a little lower in complexity than all of those other ones involved.
That's true.
Making that gap a little bigger.
Okay.
But this one is sold currently at Target.
Target, yeah.
And
I'm there.
This is one of those games that if someone randomly walked up and bought it, I feel confident they have a good chance of figuring out the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I think they also would like the game. It's not a complicated game to teach and play, but as someone who plays a lot of heavier games,
Yeah.
I also thought it was good.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And the pieces don't hurt. The whole thing has just a good feel to it.
Yeah.
It made me want to start a garden. And then my wife pointed out that we kill pretty much every plant we come across.
You're not a green
When
thumb.
I say
you're
we,
a-
I mean her.
You're a green
she's
shirt. You're not
my
a
wife's
green thumb.
plant murderer. A murderer. I said it.
I want to play this one. I'm
Okay.
looking forward to it.
You can't.
Darn it!
That's better than yours.
No, Zee's is still
No. Combine the two.
That's true.
I guess so, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's better. Okay. My number 7 is a game that hasn't gotten a whole lot of love. And honestly, I like the game, don't love it, but I do think that it evokes nature very, very well, and that is Mariposas. A game about butterflies and the migration of butterflies.
I consider this.
And so, you know, a lot of people, and maybe other people on this list, or maybe even myself, will do another nature theme game of the same designer. But to me, this is a better. Well,
Yes.
you could use that too. This is a better.
No, those are dead flowers you're giving other people. Murderer.
That's nature.
That's nature.
I believe, just personally, that this does a better job of evoking a nature theme than Wingspan does, just to put it out there. That's why this is on my list, because I thought that while the gameplay is relatively simple, I really felt like it did a really good job of giving you this idea of the fluttering butterflies kind of going, you know, north and then coming back south again. And I thought that the mechanics with what you know that they want to do just made sense. Now, obviously, connecting to particular cities, I mean, that's, you know, gamery. But other than that, I felt like, yeah, this really has this neat idea of, you know, migration of butterflies, and it worked.
Right.
And it helped you learn the game, and it helped you kind of remember the game, and really kind of gave me that same feeling that I'm looking for in the games that I put on this list. So, my number 7, Mariposas.
It actually didn't even make my short list. It made my longer list.
Okay.
I just eliminated it because I thought I just don't like it as much as the other games.
That's true.
I think it's a good game. I worry about its long-term replayability.
Correct, 100%.
But it's a solid game. Also, really off the radar. But I definitely
is.
thought of it. It's one of the first
It's such
games.
a well-researched game and such a specific game.
I'm actually sad because, you know, in the Dice Star Library, I have a butterfly section of like 5 games.
And this isn't in it?
No, it is.
It
and I
is.
went and looked at it, and none of the butterfly games made my list. This one didn't. This was the closest. But like butterfly has nothing to do with butterflies. You're moving around I didn't feel like that one counted. And then the other ones weren't strong enough, like Dust in the Wings and
Right.
that's a abstract, and so
Very
is
much.
and I would never put an abstract
I
bug game
got
on
it,
my
Tom. I
list.
got it. My number 7 is a crossover
Oh.
with the hopefully forgiving Tom Vasel. This is Planted.
Woo!
Oh, there you go.
Forgiving. What did you do?
Because he just said that Hive is a garbage pick and I'm a garbage person. Anyway, my number 7, Planted. Wonderful game that we just played recently. I had a wonderful time with you as well. Thank you.
It wasn't the players, it was the game I enjoyed.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, you said everything already that I wanted to say. I think the game looks very good. I wish the card quality that Buffalo is putting out, I do wish they would step that up. And this one is a bit problematic with the card drafting.
Yeah.
I thought in the previous game they did with Phil Walker Harding also, the Summer Camp, it was more noticeable because it's a deck building game.
Right.
Lots of shuffling, lots of taking new cards and shuffling them in. But everything else, production-wise, man, beautiful bits. This game looks like a deluxe upgraded edition out of the box. Now, don't crack this open and say to yourself, "Oh, this is an Ankh," and wipe it off. I mean, deluxe for the $30 you're paying for it, $20 if you're a cheapskate. But I really do enjoy
Still
the
mad
game.
about that $20, right?
I want it at 20, most 20. BOGO at 20.
Don't worry, if it's in Target, you just gotta wait a year.
That's right.
That's true.
Or a week.
Or just ask Kenny. My number 7, Planted.
Well, guess what? My number 7 is also a crossover.
Is it with
Although
me?
sadly not with you. We already had a crossover. Don't try to ruin
I
it.
understand that you are.
My crossover is now with Mike. Which of your games is it?
You chose Bosk.
That's correct. Bosk. I don't think you've played this one yet.
I have
This
not.
is on your Catch-A-Palooza list.
Okay.
This one, I mean, it's pretty.
It
really is. As you put those leaves out.
Yeah.
And I also like that it's essentially one game, but it's split into two halves.
Abstract?
It's
No, because the no. The leaves fall according to the wind.
Right, the
from
wind
the
which
trees.
moves, and you can adjust the wind, right?
Like normal.
Yeah, I got it.
And look at those trees. Nothing
Yes.
abstract about those.
Nope.
Look at those numbers in the trees. No, that looks really pretty. I don't know why this one I just kind of missed it. I think it just fell through the cracks for me. But it does look good. I do like that cover. I like everything about what's happening here. I do wonder if the game's going to be a little abstracted for me, if I'm going to enjoy it or just feel like I'm not really getting that feeling.
Well, I'll say this as a spoiler. On my short list, a game that did not make it, I considered, was Photosynthesis.
Me too, actually.
And originally, these games were compared a lot. For whatever reason, they're both trees. They're not really that similar.
They're not.
Although I can see the same people would like both.
Okay.
And Photosynthesis did not make my list this time because I want to punch the other players down, a player, in Photosynthesis. And the expansion, that didn't help. I still like Photosynthesis, don't get me wrong. But Bosk, I felt, does the theme better. Even though they're both abstract.
I agree, actually.
Bosk doesn't. Photosynthesis, I think it's weird. We found this weird.
We didn't find it. Someone found a way to
like a way to exploit the game.
Right.
And it always irritates me a bit. And it's not thematic.
Everyone at the table. It's like, I'm going to be an absolute and utter jerk. And you're going to just take it.
Oh, wow.
And that's why we don't play with you anymore.
Correct.
Okay, I mean, I thought it was a great strategy. I'm surprised to hear you guys see it that way.
No.
I also
You know
think
what?
that
No sun for you. No sun for you.
I think
Shade.
Photosynthesis
Shade. I throw it about.
can sometimes feel like it overstays its welcome. This, I feel like, it's real snappy. It's basically two kind of rounds.
Yeah, I like
Is
this
there like
one.
two distinct halves?
There is.
The first half you put out all the trees.
You place the trees.
And then the second half
and
the
then
trees leave.
drop their leaves.
They leave and leave.
Right. And then
I'm not kidding, they do.
then where the leaves end up is an area control thing.
Yeah.
That very much sounds like Fjords. Kind of. Fjords has tile placement.
Yeah.
And then area control from there.
Right. I see what you're coming from.
Yeah.
It feels a little different, but it's a similar idea.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, my number 7, Bosk. It was him.
It was definitely him. My number 6 is a game that I will be very surprised if it's not a three-way crossover. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm crossing off my list for you.
Change it up, baby. My number 6. I'm actually surprised that it didn't end up higher on my list, but I was kind of sticking with the ones that I felt like just evoked this feeling that I'm trying to describe, and this is Parks. A gorgeous game about.
Actually, I didn't put it on my list.
Really? Okay, interesting. About visiting the national parks across the United States, and it utilizes the gorgeous artwork of the 59 Parks Collective, which is a collection of artists that had paintings commissioned to represent all of the parks and the national parks in the United States. From that, this very, very welcoming game, but there's a fair amount of resource management, and it's kind of, what type of game is it, Tom? You're trying to make this happen.
Ratchet.
It's a ratchet game, right? And nothing evokes nature like a ratchet, I always found. It's a game that not only does the art and the componentry help with that, but I just feel like it's pleasant, right? It's a pleasant game. There are some things you can do to affect the other players, but it's not necessarily mean. You're taking a journey, you're taking a walk, you're taking pictures, you're visiting parts. You picked this over
Trails, by the way?
I did pick this over Trails, yes. I feel like this does a better job of evoking a natural theme than Trails, which, while more condensed and more compact, is more abstract.
I like this game.
Lighter.
It just
lighter, yeah.
It just didn't hit my list. That's all.
Yeah.
I think it's I mean, theme-wise, it's hard to beat.
It is hard to beat it, and production-wise, and yeah, this is a very, very nice game. I feel like it does a great job of evoking nature.
Yeah.
So there's my number 6, Parks.
That's a wonderful pick, Mike.
Thank you.
My number 6 is Cascadia.
That's a wonderful pick.
And Cascadia is about a game in which you are going to be drafting land masses and animals and creating basically.
I haven't heard of this one.
Your own
under the radar.
Your own under the radar landscape in which trees will show up. They'll drop leaves. Animals will defecate in the forest.
What?
They do that.
Are you talking about bears?
Yeah, they do that. Do you know where they do it? In the forest. Don't ask me rhetorical things.
Scat.
What?
It's called scat.
Okay, stop.
Anyway, I don't really have to go on about this.
Put this in the time capsule, Roy.
I don't have to go on here because you probably played it if you're watching this. It's extremely popular right now.
Very much
A lot of people have played it. And it's at this point, because again, I kind of tried to rank mine based on that thing I was telling you about with Plums being a trick-taking game. There's a little bit of a nature thing. Hive is fully abstract with a little bit of that nature thing to help you teach and kind of figure it out. Cascadia, for me, is about the breaking point where it still feels largely abstracted.
Right.
You know, there's like the scoring cards are just pattern things, except, you know, I guess the fish are in the water. I mean, like the bare minimum thematic connection to say, yeah, this feels like a nature theme to me, or it's relaxing, or it's fun, or it's a goo. I got to figure out what I want to do. I feel like from this point on, there is that little bit of a break, and it's either more thematic or that feeling of relaxation kicks up.
Yeah.
All right.
I will say this was on my short list. The only reason it didn't was, like you're saying, it's a little abstract, you know, but it's a great pick. I mean, it's a very nature forward game.
Well, Z went from a very popular number 6. I'm going to go to one that does not get as much love, although it's maybe the prettiest game on my whole list, and that is Canopy. Canopy is, oh my word, this is one of the prettiest games out there. This is a game in which you are just set collecting, really. You're basically...
That's gorgeous, yeah.
Look at those. You get to build your trees.
I need to play this. I backed it. I haven't played it yet.
Wait, weren't you the one who told me about this game? Or was that you?
I might have been
It was
me.
Z. I've looked at it, but I haven't actually sat down and played it yet.
Yeah, you're growing trees, you're collecting animals, you're avoiding fires and disease on the animals.
Yeah.
You are collecting different plants of different types. It's a drafting game for 2 people. It works really well with 2 players. I think you play with more, maybe.
I think those are variants. It's really a 2-player
It's really
game.
a 2-player game. But man, that picture looks less good than it does on the table.
And
that picture looks good. It is such a great game. It's fun to collect the stuff. It's fun to collect the animals. I just really like this one.
What's the name of the drafting style this utilizes? There's a particular drafting style it uses.
Winston?
I think it's a Winston draft. Yeah, multiple piles, right?
Is that what that's called, Tom?
I don't remember. But yeah, what Mike's saying is you give a card. You look at it. You want to keep that card? No. Then you add another card to that pile. So you're making it better for your opponent to take that. And then
It's
sometimes
an old Magic the Gathering format of drafting. I forget. Is that Winston?
Yep.
There you go.
Well, yeah, it's very, very fun. So Canopy.
Yeah. It is not only 2-player, but it's better at 2-player, I think. Someone's asking in the chat. Yeah.
And that's why I burned them to the ground.
Look, they were asking for it. Trees are nothing but problems. You know,
We're back on.
Trees act so superior. Okay, my number 5 is another one of the real world games. It is very, very realistic. Everdell. My number 5 is Everdell. Yeah, you knew it would show up on one of these lists, didn't you?
Still mind-boggled that I said Redwall, and you were like, "Oh,
I was on a completely different
Just thinking of an actual red wall.
I was thinking of a red wall. Yes. So yes, not real world nature, but I think. Look, I mean, this is a game that again just is so pleasant.
It really is very nature.
It really is.
I'm not going to complain about it. I just cut them from my list.
And I get it. I wasn't thinking along those lines, but yeah, this was one of the first games that came to mind when we discussed this list. When kind of figuring out where it was going to land, I was a little surprised. I thought it might be higher, but the reason why it's not is that while it does evoke the feeling of nature, this is a little more mechanics forward than some of the other games are, and so you can get lost in the mechanisms sometimes more. I'm not necessarily thinking of, I'm going here to get this wood because it's in the river. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah,
it's like this is a resource. The theme comes through in the beauty.
Chat, nature, yes or no? Just say yes or no. Yes means it is nature. No means it's not.
Okay.
I'm just curious to see what people
Sure. I very clearly feel like this is nature, but I can understand if people didn't. But again, I think it's mostly because it can sometimes the mechanics get in front. You know what I mean? It's like, I need this card. I'm not thinking about, I'm a forest creature as much. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The components are what bring me there. The art is what brings me there. And it is a pleasant game to play as well. It has a lot of those, endorphin hits, and then that sometimes you look for those in these types of games.
I definitely considered
lots of
it.
yes in the.
I considered it, and I kept asking myself the question. I'm like, well, nature-themed games, yes, kind of, but I ended up falling on. It's a fantasy-themed game.
It is, yeah.
Which has sort of natural trappings, but. So I didn't put it on mine.
Fair. Okay.
But I totally get it. I mean, this would, if I had just honestly felt slightly different about it at the moment, I would have put it on.
I agree. I took them off the list so I could put other games on.
Yeah. We all were kind of like, how are we going to approach this? But we didn't talk. I'm glad we didn't. We didn't talk about it too much.
All right. So here's the current vote ranks are 20 yes, 3 no, 2 maybes.
Okay.
Although one of those yeses is a yes and no, so I marked it on both. And one person said yes for the love of Mike, which I think is a no.
Fair enough. All right.
All right,
Thank you, Terry.
Mike, we bow to the people's wisdom. Your choice has been approved.
Thank you, folks.
Top that.
No, I refuse.
Some of us could make our list without the support of people.
My number 5 is a crossover with Mike DiLisio, voice of the people.
That would be amazing if it was Everdell.
That would be amazing.
Yep.
No, it's Mariposas.
Oh, really? Cool.
I am surprised. I didn't think you liked this as much as we did.
I do like this game. Yeah. And I think, like you said, it is very. It's just the specificity in this game is kind of what does it.
Yeah.
It's not that generalized. I feel like looking at lush tropical paintings. So I'm going to play some nature-themed game that maybe is just a trick-taking game with pretty cards that show trees. This one is clearly well-researched. It's about one specific thing.
Yes.
The migration of these monarch butterflies and their lifespan and their sort of, life cycle, I should say. And it does that really well. And yes, you therefore miss some of the lush imagery and sort of the, putting you in that place, feel like you're surrounded by nature, because it's very mechanical. There's a lot going on in the game. It attempts to replicate a lot of that. It's almost it's weirdly sort of a simulation in some ways, with some mechanisms that don't really simulate anything, but it seems like the pursuit was simulating this event, and approximating this event that happens year after year. And I think it does that very well. The game is engaging. It's a thinky game. It's got plenty going on. And it could have been a different theme wouldn't have been a problem, really. The fact that it is this, I think, is commendable and really interesting.
See, it's interesting because I was getting ready to say this doesn't feel like a game that could have been any theme to me. It really does feel like this was a game where it was, this is what I'm evoking. This is what I want this game to be about. This feels like a theme first game to me.
Oh, I know, I agree with that.
Know what I mean?
I agree with that, but because I think it's because the camera lens has been pulled back so far.
Yeah, maybe so.
You start to lose that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then it could be about cars.
I suppose.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You lose some things, like the butterfly sort of, one dies and the next generation comes out, you know? But that could be a Tesla, man. You know?
Ooh.
Butterflies.
All right.
The Teslas of yesterday. My number 5, Mariposas.
My number 5 is 70% of the world's surface, and that is oceans. Is it 70%? Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Oceans here, which was the sequel and not so subtle redone version of Evolution, because it is Evolution in many ways. It's Evolution 2.0. I like this theme better. I love the ocean. I like that the tokens here are fish, even though all those different fish, same thing. But as the game goes by, your fish, the species you are, is going to change, and you'll have a lot of basic attributes, and there's 10 copies of each of those attributes in a deck. You're building your fish, but there's another deck that you want to get into that has unique attributes that, if you have that, you're the only person to have it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I love the art in this game. It's very colorful. It reminds me, actually, very similar to art from another game that will show up later on my list. I like this particular palette of colors in games, and I don't often see it. Because usually when the palette's this vibrant, the main color is green. Here the main color is blue, which is for me, it's a nice change of pace. But I like oceans. I like fish a lot. I love going to aquariums. I like watching big IMAX movies about fish. And I just like that.
Yeah.
It's like a different world that I never get to see.
Yeah.
I don't scuba because there's nowhere around here you can.
Yeah, I mean, because
man.
Wouldn't you say that like deep water stuff is almost like as close to an alien world as we have on our planet?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
Kind of
They actually open most of these documentaries by like that. They're like, it's like being on another world.
It kind of is.
They almost always say that.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But that's neat to me. I like that, and I like playing games about it. I wish there was more, honestly.
I agree.
It feels like you have a lot of freedom to do stuff. I would have put another game in here that's just as pretty as Oceans, which is Aquasphere, right?
The Feld game?
No, not Aquasphere. What's the one where you have the little aquarium?
You don't mean Aqua Garden, do you?
Aqua Garden.
Because I'm wishing, as soon as you said this, I'm like,
No,
why
because
didn't I put
Aqua Garden falls into my zoo category.
Oh, that's I suppose.
That's
kinda
why
true.
Aqua Garden didn't make the list.
That's why Mike
kinda
didn't
true.
put it on there either.
Sure,
Yeah,
I'll go with
Come
that.
on.
It's definitely not that I forgot about.
Also,
putting
there's
it on
like
there.
no fantasy in that game, so. All right.
Look.
My number 5, Oceans.
All right. My number 4 is an absolutely gorgeous game that has recently been reissued in a deluxe version, which is even more beautiful, although the regular version is plenty gorgeous, and this is Petrichor. This is a game...
I almost wrote, Mike will say Petrichor.
Yeah. This is a game about, clouds and rain and watering crops, and the board is made up of tiles of different kind of crops.
Okay.
You are controlling these clouds that are going to be moving about. This is the original version. That are going to be moving about these tiles, and you've got
trash version,
raindrops. No, this is still beautiful. Raindrops of your color, and this is another game that can be. It's very interactive. It can even be mean depending upon which tiles you choose and things
it's
along
mean
those
as all
lines.
get out.
Yeah, it's an area control type of a game, and you can interact and move other people's clouds and move their raindrops, but it does evoke this theme, and much of it is carried with the art and the components, but I also do feel like they do a good job. The cards you play are weather. You're playing frost cards, or you're playing sun cards, or your wind, and they do a nice job of kind of having some looser than others, but thematic connections. Obviously the wind cards are going to be moving the clouds or moving the rain and things along those lines. So just a great job of taking what could have been a kind of a standard area control-y type game and really elevating it with a very, very unique theme with enough connection between that theme and the mechanisms to pull it forward so that it does not feel like other area controls games that I've played. I've taught this game to people that don't particularly like area control, and the theme and the componentry was enough to pull them out of that, and they were like, yeah, I don't usually like these types of games, but I liked this.
Well, such an outside-the-box theme.
It really
setting,
is.
You know, it's like a very, very strange
I like
thing.
the theme more than the game. I think the game is fine, and it's a good game, but man, that theme is great.
It really is.
So neat, yeah, it's so distinct.
It is. Yeah, it really, really is. And just on the other end of abstract, you know what I mean? And so that's why it's on this list.
At that point, it's...
Yeah.
How many games are truly that strongly thematic? This one's pretty thematic.
It is pretty
My number
thematic.
4 is incredibly thematic.
Let's hear about it.
It's floriferous.
Hey!
No build up. Hang on, I'm so...
Okay, I'll build up.
You're supposed to say it's a crossover.
It's a crossover.
With who?
With Mike. Okay? And it's a game
I don't have Mike's list. I don't know why I'm looking at this.
Floriferous. There, enough build up. Floriferous is... I think I would have to say one of the most thematic flower-based games I've ever seen.
That's a bold statement.
In it, you are going to collect flowers. You will look at flowers. You will smell flowers. If you get the Kickstarter Deluxe Edition, it is scratch and sniff on every single one of these cards.
I'm throwing my version away.
I would straight up buy that.
Could you imagine that? That's definitely a joke, folks.
That would be great.
But if you have the scratch and sniff technology, use it.
That's right.
Wield the power.
I don't know. Do you want to open that box and be like, whoa?
You'd pass out. I think you would pass. If you could smell all these flowers at once, you'd be like,
yeah.
Just
I want it to be
out.
just an potpourri explosion.
I know. It's like every time you open this up, it's like
potpourri a thing anymore? I barely see it at stores.
Yeah, it's a
thing. Do people use it?
It's a thing.
Candles every place.
You get the bags of that.
You think? I think you can
Other thing, there's like 80 different ways to smell in a house now.
There's still sachets.
What's your favorite way to scent up a space?
Come on, you know I'm a candle man.
You are a candle man. I'm a reed and oils.
Oh, I do like that,
called?
but it's more subtle.
What is that? What is that called?
You don't mean the essential oils, do you?
No,
They're not really essential oils.
You just put oils
you put
and
the
some
reeds inside
and then
the bottle.
dissipates in the rooms.
No, that's the burnt.
You don't burn it. You just stick them in and it just comes out.
Oh, I have no idea.
They last a long time.
They're really good.
You mean like the Glade plugins?
No.
Okay, Mike.
How do you not know what this is?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a bottle filled with oil that's scented.
Right.
And then you put some
You crack
reeds
it open.
Uh-huh.
You put these reeds in there that will soak that up.
They haven't done that since like 1965. What are you talking about?
You can go get those
back
right
in
now
vogue.
at Kohl's, okay?
Kohl's?
Yeah, buy one, get one half there.
1980s called. They want their department store.
Oh, no,
Okay.
don't
You
you
know
get a
what?
Kohl's. Oh, no.
It's a very good read. It's a very
It's the
good
only
read.
store that sells my size, Mike.
My number 4, floriferous.
Oh, what is
My number 4. Okay, so.
It's a diffuser.
I do know what you're talking about now. I do know what you're talking about.
Oh, I also like those things where you melt the little piece of wax and.
Yeah, that's just a that's.
Don't just. Oh yeah, U.S.
No, I'm saying that's.
Oh,
that's
he doesn't
almost
get
like
any garbage,
that's
bro.
almost
Those
like a
are
candle.
modern.
That's right.
We just discovered wax.
They sell those
Okay.
at modern stores.
Anywho, my number.
Tom, what do you got?
My number 4 is the other non-key game from Richard.
Oh, here we go.
Breeze.
Is it another crazy cover?
No, I actually think it's a pretty cool cover, although there's 2 different covers because Z-Man remade the game. This game is Reef Encounter.
Reef Encounter. Whoa.
Jeez.
Okay.
So this one's kind of interesting to me because when Reef Encounter came out, and there's the expansion. That's Reef Encounters of the second kind.
Yeah.
When Reef Encounter came out, it was looked at as
that's a looker.
It was a high. No, you know what? That game
like-
actually does look pretty good in person.
Okay.
This was like one of those Euros, wasn't it?
It was like Agricola. Like everyone was like, "Have you played Reef Encounter?"
Yeah,
And
Reef Encounter was like, that's a great approximation of what Reef Encounter was like when it came out.
People really
Like
were
Agricola,
dying to play this. I like this game a lot. It's about building a reef and then
Shrimpies.
destroying the reefs, and you have these little shrimp that come around and feed off it. There's some good thematic stuff behind it. It is the closest game I can think of that I would compare to this is Tigris and Euphrates.
Wow.
It's pretty strategic. It's really mean, but the idea of building up a reef and destroying it, and it's not very, you know, you guys are talking about calm games. This ain't calm at all because it really is in your face. I'm surprised this one is not currently in print or remade. Richard Brees actually, he must keep a pretty strong hand on his designs.
You know, this I always get this one confused with Poseidon's Kingdom. Is that right?
No, that's more. That has that's wave
one of the
of
Fraggle
dice.
Brothers games.
Yeah,
that's
that was
a wave
very
of
silly.
dice.
That was very silly in many ways. This I do get Reef Encounter though confused in my head because they're from around the same time with the one we played. With the primordial soup.
Yeah.
I do get them confused a little bit.
This is a better game for sure. This one really dropped off. I mean, for a while, everybody was talking about this game. It was a big deal.
I'm not dropping shade on your list, but I am noticing that you almost could have made this your top 10 marine theme.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, there's a lot of water themed games, which is cool.
You're a water lover.
It's just cool.
It's not all. I mean, I've had Reef Encounter, Oceans.
You're a water lover.
Actually, those are the only dominant species marine. So
marine.
3.
Okay.
Well, 70% of the Earth, Mike.
That's true.
I'm sorry if you're stuck on the land.
I wasn't throwing shade. I was just pointing.
I'm a mermaid when it comes to this list.
Merman.
I said what I said.
Okay, that's okay
Move
too,
on.
baby.
Barnacle boy.
It's not barnacle.
All right, my number 3, remember a little while ago where I mentioned that a particular publisher did a particularly good job at nature-themed games, Pencil First. This is my final game from this company on this list, and this is the one that I feel best evokes the nature theme from them and third best of all for me.
I'm assuming it's the one where all the little creatures fight the big creature.
Oh, you're thinking Skulk Hollow? No.
Apparently that's nature.
Is it the painting one?
Sunset Over Water.
Really?
Yeah, I think this game is this gets really close to being that feeling, right? Like this is just
you know what?
such
Going
a
back to that feeling thing. Okay,
serene.
Sure.
This is all about going out into nature and trying to replicate the beauty of nature on a canvas.
That cover just makes me think of sitting on the cruise ship.
I mean, this is
to
me. It's just like this is just such a calming. You're moving around. You know, there's a little bit of you know. What's the word? I like a spatial element where you have to play cards to kind of move in a particular way. But really, again, this idea is everywhere you go, you're going to be landing on some gorgeous panorama. That the idea is that you are an artist, you are a painter, and you are trying to commission these paintings for people that want the beauty of nature in their homes. And so you go to a waterfall, or you go to a lake, or you go to a mountain, and you are visiting that area, then sitting down in that space and replicating on a canvas. I just love that idea. It's a neat. It's basically the same idea as going and taking photographs, right? But this is a little bit more. You're kind of adding your own creativity to it. So I don't know. This to me is like it's one of the best representations of the feeling I'm trying to evoke.
Yeah.
I'm getting the feeling just from looking at that picture is making me thoughtful.
Yeah, it really is this kind of appreciate and enjoy the beauty of nature, right? That's what this game makes me, feel. So
looking at waves for me is one of the most calming things in the world.
It really is. And the sound too of waves and just the motion.
Like at night when I'm tired on the cruise,
oh my gosh,
and I sit there and just watch the ocean, or if you're sitting on the beach just watching. I don't like beaches that much, but I like that part.
It's meditative. I think it really is. So yeah. There you go. Sunset Over Water, and also a game that I think is underappreciated. I know you don't like it quite as much as I do, but I think this is a really good game.
It's but it is third for me from that sort of little trilogy.
Line, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I dig it a lot. There you go. Sunset Over Water.
What you thinking about?
When this list is over, will you hurry up and take your turn?
All right, here I go. My number 3, right, is a crossover. With Mike, yes, of course. Okay, with the one who's nice to me. Parks.
There you go.
It's my number 3.
I figured.
It's, yes, beautiful, yes, meditative and relaxing and celebrates the thing we're talking about also in a very real way. but it's also a very interesting game. It's a game that I do enjoy. It's not mean. You just sort of can get in each other's way sometimes. Yeah. It's simple enough that it's very approachable. Not as approachable as Trails. That one's really light. And if you want something you can throw in your pocket and play with just about anybody,
I wonder if
really
I like Trails better.
Yeah, you might. I mean, it's possible.
Sure.
I don't know. But yeah, I like them both. But I
think it's possible. It's a true statement.
It's in the realm of possibility.
Parks. It's possible you might like Parks better. How about that? Huh?
That's possible
Math,
too.
Probabilities. Parks is a lovely game. I recommend it. Mike recommends it. Tom, not so much.
I like the game. Not everything has to make my top 10.
Tom hates it.
Parks is on my short list. Give me a second.
My number 3.
Oh, no, that's Savannah Park. Okay.
Oh.
No, it's out my short list.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, good.
My number 3, 2 things. 1, we're back in the ocean. Okay. Last ocean game.
Okay.
2, remember I made this list in order of my favorites.
You did, yeah.
Because this is clearly the least thematic on my list. In fact, some might call it abstract.
Wow, Vicious Fishes made your list?
No, shut up. Don't be a jerk.
That's amazing.
Not even in the Dice Tower library.
You really should put it in.
I really should.
They should be.
All right. Well, no one. Did you see how many people did you see played Nothing Personal over the convention?
I know. I get
it's that same guy. Were you involved in that?
I was not.
Okay. Anyhow, my number 3 is Reef. Just Reef.
Oh, okay.
I like the art. I like the visual effect of building the reef. It definitely is in the ocean. It's definitely nature themed.
It is. I mean, because
and it's also super abstract. But I love this game a lot. I like. Man, that picture's not doing it. Well, you know what? It does look like a bunch of kids blocks.
It's a rendering. I mean,
no, I know, but it doesn't look much better than that in person.
It doesn't, no.
But I like this game. It's so much fun. I still don't know how Azul did so well and this one didn't. Because to me, this game kills Azul around the block. I like this so much better.
Not a chance.
Interesting, really.
Same designer. Well,
No, it's different designer.
It's not design.
This is Matsuchi.
You're right. Why did I say same designer? Same
know.
company made them both. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was a major gaffe on my part. Sorry.
Man. You got the relaxing waves on the mind.
GAF is the next game in their line, by the way.
It
just
does
one
have
F?
4 letters.
4, yeah, GAF. Oh, yeah. It's spelled GAFF. It's the alternate spelling.
We're getting off topic
How do you
here.
spell gaff? Is there an E at the end?
Reef is a great
That's
game.
gaffy.
I like the idea of playing the cards to get
all
pieces
gaffy.
and score.
Yeah.
And they're never in the order you want them to be. You're trying to get them in that order. Anyway, like I said, I think it's the least thematic on my list, but it is definitely nature themed.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just I put them in order of how much I like them.
Sure.
So
And Coral is a living.
That's the
thing.
end of the ocean for the most part.
All right, the ocean's dead.
Number
now.
3.
Number 2 is a game that has a tremendous amount of buzz.
Here we go.
like
yes.
Oh my word, that's terrible.
What could it possibly be?
This game is so sweet. My number 2 is Honey Buzz.
Very popular at the con. It didn't hurt that they were there.
Elf
demoing
Creek
the
was
game.
there demoing and selling the game, but this is a game that I feel like has such a wide appeal for a game that really has a pretty strong puzzle element to it, but it also very much evokes this feeling of nature all the way from the the color palette to
honey,
the idea, the honey and the nectar.
Stock market.
No, look,
Shut up. This is a good chance this is on your list.
Yeah, no, there is that stock element, but to me, that's I don't know. This is all about building your little hives, and this is all about getting the right kind of nectar.
Whatever,
and the honey.
Half of the reason it's on your list is because of those honey pieces.
It's gorgeous.
God, they're gooey.
Oh my gosh,
Those are great.
Yeah,
I've definitely eaten at least 2 of those.
Right. This has so much of the kind of, I don't know, the table presence and the tactile fun that you have.
Yeah.
That this was another game that as soon as we came up with this list, I was like, yeah, Honey Buzz will be on there. And the more that I kind of went through them, I'm like, this is really high up. This also very much gives me that pleasant buzz of nature.
That's one time too many.
No, that was perfect. And I'm done. My number 2 is Honey Something.
I like to note that I went through that whole period without making stupid jokes.
Incorrect.
No, there was stupidity.
Sure.
No jokes. Go ahead.
You were serious. You meant it.
That was nice. Apparently, I'm droning on. Nicely done. All right.
No, do not give. We do not give credence to puns in the comments, Mike.
Chris Yee's in the chat.
Oh.
I know!
I'm just saying, you're not going to avoid puns when Chris Yee's in the chat. That was my number 2, Honey Buzz.
Go ahead.
Garcia?
My number 2 is Wingspan.
It's about time someone mentioned this game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys are going to say it or not. I'm curious, but Wingspan is the first one I probably thought of.
It's hard to avoid.
It's such a
elemental bird in the room.
Sort of, it's like such a strong candidate for being on a list like this. Simply from the fact that it is incredibly well known, popular, a breakthrough hit. It has, in many ways, popularized this style and at the very least setting for games of this type.
Sure.
A lot of games are pursuing these settings because Wingspan has sold enough copies to stop a train. And people want some of that, They want to get a little tarred and feathered. That is a
good one.
Theme, right?
Yeah. And I would say that one of the things that people were reluctant or hesitant to was because of the theme. I think a lot of people thought this theme wouldn't work, and man, did they prove them wrong.
Yeah, right. And there's been a lot of games with these kinds of soothing, relaxing settings, very specific settings about something in nature or natural. I think this game has a lot going on. I think it's sold how much it's sold, and it's respected and beloved the way it is for a reason. It's extremely well put together. Like Elizabeth Hargrave's other game on my list, Mariposa, is very well researched. Has a deep bench of content in there that clearly took a lot of time to find and collate and put together. I enjoy it, and it does give me a little bit of that feeling of relaxation while still being an engaging game.
Yeah.
It's not herbaceous. Herbaceous to me is just melt into the chair, and I'll do some stuff, but it's really just a relaxing, almost soporific sort of activity.
Right. Ooh,
Wingspan.
Soporific.
You like that one? Like that?
That's a power
Look
word
that one
right
up,
there.
baby. Look it up. Google it.
He can't. He's asleep.
Wingspan. That's pretty good. Wingspan is not that, but it does give me a little bit of that feeling.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful game.
It is. I certainly considered it. I just went the Mariposas route.
Okay, go.
Okay. My number 2 is a crossover with Zee Garcia.
I love it.
It's Wingspan!
Yeah, baby!
Yeah, I guess I killed the 3-way crossover on
You
this one.
didn't put it on your list.
I went
What's it like?
No way.
You put Evertel on there, but not real life birds.
I did.
Here's the thing. I think Wingspan is currently undergoing the backlash of it's too popular.
Yeah, no.
It's getting Cataned.
I mean, and then people are like, well, it's not really nature themed. Are you kidding me?
Of course it's nature
Every
themed.
card on here talks about where that bird lives and the wingspan of the birds and what they eat. And there's more theme in this game than most of the other games on our list.
I agree.
Sure.
And with all that, I also think it's a really good engine building game.
It is.
Yes, there's better, cleaner ones out there that everyone else likes, but I don't know. It's weird to me sometimes. It seems like there's people just lining up with bats. Like, Wingspan? I'm tired of hearing about it. Boom, boom, boom. This is the list it's made for. It's a nature-themed game.
Yeah.
And Zee's 100% correct that this game is the one that opened the door to this whole nature explosion we have right now.
That's true.
That obviously people want.
Yes.
And actually...
Yeah. I mean, again, there can be sometimes too much of a good thing.
Yes, but I also would rather see more games about nature than I would about trading in the Mediterranean and zombies.
But what about, right, combining those things? Nature.
Trading plants.
In the Mediterranean, in the Middle Ages. Or maybe nature...
What is the nature in the Middle Ages different than, like, nature now?
Well,
I don't want to hear about all the species that have been extinct. Okay, I get that.
It's also older.
Okay, whatever. Anyway.
There might be a cat
that was my number 2.
Yeah, I definitely considered it.
Wingspan. So there's no 3-way crossovers.
No.
Boo.
Is Fellini not on your list?
Unless we all have the same number 1.
My number 1 is Fellini. I'm going to say it out right now.
Why are you ruining it?
It's cats in garb of the Middle Ages.
Fellini, if we ever do a faux nature list, Fellini is number 1 for sure. All right, cut it, Roy.
Fantastic.
Thanos with wings.
That is great.
Half the birds are gone.
Yeah, how can they snap when they don't have wings? All right, my number one is Meadow. Let's just come right on out there. This was the game that I felt best evokes that feeling that I've been trying to describe. And hopefully my list of games will do a better job than I've done at trying to come across
this one at least
with.
is not fantasy themed.
It is not. This is real world nature, and everything about it I feel like is just steeped in this environment, this atmosphere of beauty, appreciation of nature, gorgeous animals, gorgeous art. The idea of the even the seasons and the kind of the different environments that they live in. Amazing art. It is a breezy game with plenty of decisions. So I feel like this game, more than many other games I can think of, has a really good ratio of there are very meaningful decisions to make, but it doesn't seem to bog people down in AP like other games like this do, where you're drafting cards from a central board and you're kind of competing for common goals, like you're trying to get particular cards next to each other. For one reason or another, this doesn't seem to bog people down.
That is weird.
Isn't that?
You know what? Because your choices get smaller.
Right.
And they don't get harder. You're like, I can take that card, or that card. I guess I'll take that card.
But there's so many games that do very similar things to this that lock people up. This doesn't seem to lock people up. Every game, no matter which groups, newer gamers, seasoned gamers, mixtures of the two, it just seems to flow. You know, it's just like everyone takes their turn. There's not a tremendous amount of downtime.
Could that be a theme thing?
It might be.
Just like a little critter gets eaten by a little bird, and a little bird gets eaten by whatever.
I need a tree. I need a
lot.
ladybug. I need a tree. It's just, there's something about it. It does not seem to lock people up like other games that are very similar in their mechanics do.
I think it diffuses some of that possibility with the just lush look and its backyard aesthetic, and it's a game that just, it seems to, what's the word I'm looking for? It just seems to not be pretentious.
It doesn't, and I'm going to use a word here that I'm going to get made fun of for, but because I think this word gets used with different connotations. I think this is a sensual game. It's a game that when I'm playing it, you can almost hear the sounds. You can almost smell. You know what I mean? It just does such a good job. That's why you need the diffusers around. That's why you need the diffusers around. But anyway, I'm gonna get wrecked for this. But I think this is a sensual game where it evokes multiple senses while you're playing it. I have found.
No, I get that. Anyway, I get that.
My number one, Meadow.
My number one is also Meadow.
Hey, there you go.
Blah, blah, blah. My number one is also Meadow.
Hey, we got a three-way crossover.
That is insane.
Really?
Yours is also number one?
Because it was not the first game I thought of, which was Wingspan.
Yeah, okay, right.
And I went through the nature theme. They got Meadow, and after a while I was like, Meadow's definitely number one. It's not even close.
It just seems to do the most with it.
Right.
Maybe that's it. You know, some of the other ones are more specific, like Mariposas is really specific. Some are easier. Some are way more abstract. This is not necessarily the most thematic, I think.
Right.
But it does the most with it. It encapsulates nature the most for me. I think that's why it's number one.
See, I thought maybe this might make your top two.
It's not my favorite from the list.
No, it's not either.
It just, again, seems to do the most.
Favorite. I really like this game.
I think it does the most with the theme or the setting or the trappings or whatever. If you like any part of nature, I feel, you'll get something out of this one. You know what
plants,
I mean? Just the general sort of lazy Sunday morning vibe of nature-themed games. This will give you that too. It puts you there. It is, you know, I'm not gonna say what Mike said. That ain't right, you know, but it enhances and utilizes your senses.
I thought he said essential for the longest time.
That's what I thought too. But then my man came back with sensual, and I'm like, huh?
I'm just saying.
What's wrong with saying essential? We say that all the time here.
Also, the expansion, otters.
Also, every art game card. Lots of art.
I agree with that.
He shook up, man.
Everything you said is right. We all picked the same number one. Has that when was the last time that happened? It's been a long
It's been a while.
I also don't think it's like an obvious number one.
No, I think Wingspan would have been the obvious, honestly. But yeah.
Well, you didn't put it on your list.
I didn't, but that was a very specific, not because I mean, it's in my top 100.
Well, let's see what the people chose.
What did the humans say?
All right, so for the people, your number
some sort of
10
cat
is
in a box.
Fox in the Forest.
Fox in the Forest.
Okay,
I thought about it.
I did not consider that.
9 is Photosynthesis.
Sure. I went with Bosk instead.
Number 8 is Takinoko, which
that one I did think about for sure.
I thought about it, but it's odd. I couldn't get nature out of it.
Yeah, there is nature.
It's a battle between a panda and a gardener.
It's all bamboo growing,
You have a weather
irrigation,
dye.
but it's like you changing nature in many ways.
Yeah.
The fact that the bamboo is pink, yellow, and green doesn't help, or blue, or whatever colors they are.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily natural.
There's a lot of like irrigation and you trapping and shaping nature in many ways.
Sure. Now, Spirit Island is interesting because I've seen it mentioned a number of times in the chat.
Can you zoom in?
This is one where that's one where I felt like skewed more to the straight fantasy. I understand, and I wouldn't argue against it because nature is certainly.
It's
a part
interesting.
of
It never even occurred to me when I
it's
saw
nature
it on the
spirits,
People's Choice.
right?
I was like,
lightning and earth spirits, and there's definitely a nature element to it. I just thought of that as more fantastical, I guess, even than something like Everdell or Creature Comforts.
Right. I mean, it's a fantasy setting.
Yeah.
And
But it's
four-way
interesting.
crossover with Meadow.
Sure.
Let's see what we got for number 5. Everdell. Okay, fine, Mike. We got it. The people agree with you. Number 4, Root. Same. So why did you put Root if you put Everdell?
Because Root is a war game, and that doesn't evoke the feeling that I want. I love Root. It's one of my favorite games.
Okay.
But I don't think of it as a nature game. I think of it as a war game with an awesome theme that, is out of the ordinary. It kind of like works against, it like subverts theme almost.
Yeah, okay, right. I get that.
All right, number 3, Parks.
Yeah.
Number 2,
absolutely.
Cascadia. What do you think number 1 is?
What is number 1? Could it be Wingspan?
It's going to be Wingspan.
Is it possibly Wingspan?
There we go.
Oh, it's Wingspan.
No, it's just G-Span.
G-Span. News of birds.
That's right.
Alrighty, folks, thanks so much for watching. Now, the People's Choice was voted on our website. We'll have a new one up soon that you can vote on, and then we'll talk about that in the next top 10 list. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you to Chris for putting the list together, Roy running our stream here, and all of you for watching. This is it for live stuff this week, I think, right?
I believe so.
Yes.
But that's because we're preparing for next week, where it's all live all the time, Monday through Thursday.
G-Span.
We're playing lots. We're playing lots of interesting games, including the new Clank.
Yeah.
We're going to show off that one. We're playing Mosaic. And many, many other games. And then at the end of the week on Thursday, we're announcing the Dice Tower Awards.
Ooh.
And we have a mega announcement video with currently 20 different, pretty groundbreaking announcements from companies. Not us.
Not us.
Not us.
No.
I don't want. We're not. There's no big Dice Tower announcement that you know of. No, there's not. So, anyhow. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia.
And I'm Mike DiLisio.
The essential Mike DiLisio.
Well.